The galaxy was quiet that day. No wars, no battles, just trade ships and patrols moving between stars. But peace is never permanent. On the edge of the Zorath Dominion, a small alien patrol ship scanned nearby space. Inside the ship, Captain Threx, a proud Zircon warrior, looked at the radar. A new signal appeared. A small, unknown ship moving slowly. "Another lost explorer," he said with a laugh. "Probably some weak species looking for help." His second officer asked, "Should we hail them?" Captain Threx shook his head. "No, fire one warning shot. Let's show them who owns this sector." A bright laser beam shot across the stars and hit the unknown ship. For a second, it looked like the ship would explode, but it didn't. Instead, the ship stopped moving. Silent. Dark. "Looks like we scared them," said Threx. But he was wrong. Far away, on a hidden moon called Erebus 9, alarms started to ring. Deep under the moon's surface, in a secret base, General Elias Voss opened his eyes. His face was calm, but his eyes were cold and sharp. A young officer ran in. "Sir, we have a situation. One of our scout ships was attacked by the Zorath Dominion." General Voss didn't speak. He walked to a screen showing the last signal from the scout ship. Static. Then darkness. "Did they survive?" he asked. "No, sir. All crew lost. No response from the ship." Voss stood still for a moment. Then he turned to his officers. "They made a mistake," he said quietly. "A big one. The galaxy had forgotten about humans. After being exiled from the Galactic Council 60 years ago, Earth vanished from the map. No one knew what happened to them. Most thought humans had died out, weak and useless. But they hadn't died. They had gone underground. They had built armies in the shadows. They had trained soldiers in secret moons. They had waited. General Voss had led this quiet mission for decades. Earth would not beg for a place in the galaxy. Earth would take it. Back in the Zorath Dominion, Captain Threx laughed and told his crew to continue patrol. "Stupid weaklings," he said. "Didn't even fight back." But deep in space, something moved. From the darkness of Sector 19, massive ships began to wake up. They were black as night, covered in strange armor and made no sound. These were the Black Fleet, Earth's secret weapon. No one in the galaxy had ever seen them. No one even knew they existed, until now. In the command room of the lead ship, Admiral Kara Wren stood with her hands behind her back. She looked at the star map. The Zorath patrol ship was still there. "Target locked," said her weapons officer. "Send a message," Kara said. "Just one line." The message was simple. "You just picked a fight with the most dangerous species in the universe." On Erebus 9, General Voss looked at the same message. He smiled for the first time in years. "We were patient," he said. "We were quiet. But now, we speak with fire." He turned to his team. "Prepare Operation Shadowstorm. No survivors. No mercy." Back at the Zorath patrol ship, Captain Threx received the message. He laughed again. "What is this joke? Dangerous species?" But before he could say more, alarms rang across his ship. "Multiple contacts!" shouted his officer. "Coming in fast!" He looked out the window and froze. 10 black ships appeared out of nowhere. No warning, no sound, just speed and power. "Raise shields!" he yelled. "Prepare for battle!" But it was too late. In seconds, the Black Fleet opened fire. Laser beams, missiles, and plasma cannons ripped through the alien ship. Threx screamed. But no one heard him. News spread fast. 1 patrol ship destroyed. No survivors. No explanation. The Zorath High Command held an emergency meeting. "Who did this?" they asked. "Why?" No one had answers. But across the stars, on Earth's hidden moon, General Voss stood before a massive screen showing the destroyed patrol ship. He turned to his people and spoke calmly. "They exiled us. They forgot us. Now, they will remember." The wreckage of the Zorath patrol ship floated in silence. No escape pods. No distress call, just metal, ash, and questions. In the capital of the Zorath Dominion, panic began to spread. Their military had ruled the stars for 200 years. No one had dared to strike them in generations. Now someone had destroyed their ship like it was nothing. Inside the Grand War Hall, Zorath leaders sat in silence. The Supreme Warlord, Vaztal, slammed his fist on the table. Who would dare? "Attack us!" he roared. A nervous officer stepped forward. "We found a message, sent seconds before the ship was destroyed." He pressed a button. The screen showed only one line. "You just picked a fight with the most dangerous species in the universe." Gasps filled the room. "Is this a joke?" someone asked. "A bluff?" Vaztal narrowed his eyes. "Find out who sent this. I want answers, now." Meanwhile, on Erebus 9, Earth's hidden command base, General Voss stood over a star map. Glowing red dots marked every known Zorath base near the outer sectors. "Phase 2, he said. "We hit their eyes and ears." Admiral Kara Wren nodded. "Already underway." Across the stars, small human stealth ships moved silently. They targeted communications outposts, listening stations, and satellite networks. In less than an hour, the Zorath Dominion went blind. No warnings, no data, just silence. On a Zorath outpost called Trellis Station, Commander Ralk looked at his dead screens. "All comms are down," his officer said. Ralk growled. "Call the capital." "We can't." Suddenly sirens blared. Ships were approaching. Black, silent, fast. Ralk's eyes widened. "Shields up! Launch all fighters!" But the Black Fleet didn't wait. They fired first. Missiles tore through the station's hangars. Fighters exploded before they left the bays. Within minutes, Trellis Station was gone. Back on Earth, in a hidden room beneath the Arctic ice, scientists monitored the data. One whispered, "They still don't know it's us." General Voss walked in. "They will," he said. "But not yet." On the Zorath capital world, confusion turned to fear. Reports of missing stations poured in. No enemies. Spotted, no survivors. No warnings. Warlord Vaztal gathered his top advisors. "Someone is playing a dangerous game," he said. "We must strike back," one shouted. "But who do we strike?" another asked. "We don't even know who's behind this." Then, a new message appeared on their main screen. This one had a voice, a cold, human voice. "You exiled us. You forgot us. Now we are your shadow, and the shadow is coming." The room went silent. Vaztal stared at the screen. "Humans," he whispered. Many years ago, the Galactic Council had exiled Earth, said humans were too aggressive, too dangerous, too emotional. They thought Earth would fall apart. Instead, humans had vanished. Now they were back, stronger, smarter, deadlier, and angry. In deep space, a Zorath fleet tried to regroup. 20 warships gathered, massive, powerful, built to crush entire worlds. But even they were nervous now. Admiral Kor, leader of the fleet, stood at the front of his command ship. "Keep eyes open. Whoever these attackers are, we face them together." Then the lights flickered. All screens went dark. "EMP blast!" someone shouted. "We're blind!" Before they could recover, the Black Fleet arrived. Fast, precise, ruthless. In just 10 minutes, the entire Zorath fleet was gone. Back on Erebus 9, General Voss watched the final explosions. He turned to his officers. "Let this be their warning. The age of hiding is over. The age of humanity has begun." The galaxy was no longer quiet. Fear began to spread. Zorath patrols vanished. Military stations went dark. Fleets stopped responding. A ghost was moving in the stars, and that ghost was human. On a remote planet named Carnis 4, a small mining colony sent a distress call. "Unknown ships spotted above our sky," the message said. They're watching us." By the time help arrived, the colony was gone. Not destroyed, emptied. No bodies, no damage, just silence. In the Zirkan capital, Warlord Vaztal slammed the table. "This is not war! This is assassination! Who are these ghosts?" His advisor spoke carefully. "We believe they are human, my lord," Vaztal growled. "Humans were thrown out of the council. They had no ships, no army." The advisor looked down. "Not anymore." Meanwhile, on Erebus 9, General Elias Voss prepared for the next move. Standing before a dark screen filled with red stars, he pointed to 3. "These are their fuel depots, their supply chains. We hit them now." Admiral Kara Wren nodded. "Scouts are ready. The hunt begins." Across the stars, Earth's fleet scattered, like wolves hunting in the night. The attacks were fast, surgical. A fuel station disappeared in a flash of light. A cargo ship vanished mid-jump. A weapons factory exploded from the inside. Every time. There were no survivors, no signals, no warnings, just death. On a Zirkan warbase called Ranthor, Commander Gorvel shouted into the comms. "We need help! They're coming! They're already inside!" The line went dead. Only smoke remained. Back on Erebus 9, Earth soldiers prepared for ground assaults. These weren't normal troops. They were ghost teams, elite human operatives trained in darkness, silence, and speed. Each wore black armor. No names, no mercy. They landed on Zirkan planets, disabling defense systems, taking control silently, then vanishing. A young Zirkan soldier named Tarnak survived one such attack. He was found hiding in rubble, shaking. "They don't speak," he whispered. "They don't breathe. They just kill." The Zirkan medics thought he had gone mad, but he hadn't. He had seen the humans, and he knew. They were hunting now. In the galactic fringe, a group of alien traders gathered. "What's happening?" one asked. "Are the Zirkans at war?" "No," another said, lowering his voice. "They're being hunted." By who? The answer was whispered, almost in fear. Humans. Back on Earth, inside a secret council chamber deep under Mount Denali, old leaders watched the reports. One said, "Should we stop?" General Voss shook his head. The Zorath Dominion was desperate. They had lost outposts, they had lost fleets, they had lost control, and worst of all, they didn't know where the humans would strike next. Warlord Vaztal stood in the great war chamber facing his generals. "We are not weak," he shouted. "We are the rulers of this galaxy," his voice echoed, but his words were empty. The generals were afraid. Even the strongest empires fall when they fight an enemy they cannot see. Then a new idea came from General Zoth Kren, one of the last brave voices in the room. "We can't keep chasing shadows," he said. "So, we make the humans come to us." Vaztal narrowed his eyes. "Explain." Zoth Kren pointed to the star map. "We fake a supply fleet, unarmed, slow, an easy target. We leak the location on purpose. When the humans attack, we trap them with our hidden fleet." A silence followed. Then, slowly, Vaztal smiled. "Set the trap." Meanwhile, on Erebus 9, General Voss studied new intelligence. Admiral Kara Wren stood beside him. "We've intercepted a signal," she said. "A Zirkan supply convoy is moving through Sector 12. No escorts, no defenses." Voss raised an eyebrow. "Too easy." "But if it's real," Kara added, "it could feed their entire war front." Voss stared at the map. Then he spoke. "If it's a trap, we spring it. But on our terms." In deep space, the false Zirkan convoy moved slowly. 10 cargo ships. Lights dimmed, shields down, behind a nearby moon. 30 Zirkan warships waited, silent and ready. Inside one of the warships, General Zoth Kren whispered, "They'll be here. Humans can't resist a soft target." Hours passed. Nothing. Then, they came. 2 human ships appeared from hyperspace. Small, fast, black as night. Zirkan sensors lit up. "They've arrived," shouted a captain. "Only 2 ships," General Zoth growled. "Just 2? Are they mocking us?" "Should we attack?" another asked. Zoth thought. "No, let them get closer." The 2 ships moved toward the convoy, then stopped. Suddenly, the human ships launched something. Not missiles, but probes. The probes scattered in all directions. The Zircans were confused. What are they doing? Then, the trap fell apart. From hyperspace, 12 more human ships appeared, behind the hidden Zircon fleet. They hadn't come for the convoy. They had come for the hunters. Human ships fired first, powerful, silent, and fast. Zircon warships tried to turn, but it was too late. Half their fleet exploded in the first volley. Zoth screamed. It was a reverse trap. They knew. Back on Erebus 9, General Voss smiled. "They wanted us to take the bait," he said. "But the Predator doesn't. Chase bait. The Predator watches the hunter, then strikes the throat." In space, the battle raged. Human ships moved like shadows, striking and vanishing. Zircon captains screamed for help, but no one came. By the end of the fight, only 2 Zircon ships escaped. One of them carried Zoth, burned, wounded, humiliated. When he returned to the capital, Warlord Vaztal looked at him with disgust. "You promised me victory," Vaztal said. Zoth fell to one knee. "They outsmarted us. Every step they were ahead." The room went silent. Then a whisper came from the shadows. "You cannot trap the masters of war. You can only delay your end." Silence filled the halls of the Zircon High Command. 30 warships destroyed. A general defeated. A trap turned against them. Now even the strongest Zircons began to feel something they hadn't felt in centuries. Fear. Warlord Vaztal stared at the galactic map. Red markers blinked, not for victories but losses. Outposts gone, fuel routes lost, officers missing. He slammed his clawed hand on the table. "Why won't they speak to us?" he shouted. "No demands, no terms, no threats." An advisor whispered, "Because they don't want peace." Far away, on Erebus 9, General Elias Voss stood alone in a dark room. In front of him, a screen lit up with the faces of Earth's secret leaders, the ones who had watched in silence for decades. One of them spoke. "The galaxy knows we are back," she said. "But some ask, are we becoming the monsters they feared?" Voss didn't blink. "They feared us for a reason. Now they remember why." Admiral Kara Wren entered the room. "Sir, the message is ready." Voss nodded. "Send it the broadcast to the entire galaxy." Across the stars, thousands of ships, stations, and planets received the same message at the same time. No music, no drama. Just one human, standing in front of a black flag. General Voss's voice was cold, clear, and final. 60 years ago, you exiled us. You said humans were too violent, too emotional, too unpredictable. You feared what we might become. You were right, but instead of destroying us, your fear built something worse. You gave us time. And now, we are no longer alone. We are an empire. We do not want your counsel. We do not want your mercy. We want one thing, to remind you. You picked this fight, and now we finish it. The screen went black. In the Galactic Council chamber, alien leaders watched the message in stunned silence. Some looked shocked, others impressed. The council leader whispered, "We thought they were gone." A reptilian ambassador shook his head. "No, we just left them behind." Back in the Zircon capital, Warlord Vaztal roared with fury. "Prepare every ship. Call every warrior. If humans want war, we'll give them hell." But far above the Zircon homeworld, Earth's black. Fleet was already waiting. In perfect silence, they began to move. On the lead ship, Admiral Kara Wren gave the order. Target locked. Awaiting your command, General. On Erebus 9, Voss simply said, "Let them hear the message. In fire." The skies above the Zircan homeworld turned black. Not from night, but from the shadows of Earth's black fleet. Thousands of human ships floated above the planet, silent, waiting, deadly. Below, alarms rang across every city. Soldiers scrambled, civilians ran. Fear spread like fire. For the first time in history, the Zorath Dominion was about to be invaded. In his war tower, Warlord Vaztal barked orders. Launch the planetary shields. Deploy all defenses. His voice echoed with anger, but behind his eyes was doubt. "Where are they?" he whispered. "Why don't they attack?" Far above, inside the lead ship of the Black Fleet, Admiral Kara Wren watched the planet through a massive glass screen. General Elias Voss stood beside her. "Are we ready?" she asked. Voss nodded. "Begin the fall." First, the communications died. Across the Zircan planet, screens went blank. Radios went silent. Military signals vanished. They were cut off, blind and deaf. Then the power grids failed. Lights flickered, cities darkened, defense systems froze, the humans hadn't fired a single shot. But they were already winning. Deep underground, a group of Zircan commanders panicked. "This is not war, this is control. They're shutting us down piece by piece." Then the first wave came, human drop pods, black, fast, unstoppable, rained from the sky like burning stars. Each carried ghost teams, Earth's elite soldiers. They landed in silence. No speeches, no warning, just precision strikes, military bases, captured, weapon silos, destroyed, command centers, taken. Warlord Vaztal watched the chaos unfold on his screen. His empire, built over 200 years, was falling in hours. He slammed his fist. "I will not die like this. Prepare my war cruiser." But when he reached the launch bay, it was already too late. His cruiser was gone, destroyed by human saboteurs hours ago. Across the planet, the people of Zircon looked to the sky and saw only black ships, unmoving, watching, judging. On Erebus 9, General Voss stared at the final report. "Planet secured," Kara said. "No resistance remains." Voss didn't smile. He didn't cheer. He simply whispered, "This is what exile created." Later, a broadcast echoed across the galaxy, sent by the humans. This time, there were no threats. No speeches, only a single image, the Zircan flag, burned and broken, with Earth's black banner rising above it. In the Galactic Council, silence filled the chamber. The leader of the council, a tall being with crystal skin, finally spoke. "They have done the impossible." The insectoid ambassador next to him said quietly, "No. They have done what only humans can." Back on the ruined Zircan homeworld, the people watched as Earth's soldiers pulled back. The war was over. The Empire had fallen, and now only one question remained. What would the humans do next? The war was over. The Zircan Dominion, once feared across the galaxy, was now broken, defeated, and silent. Their cities burned quietly. Their armies were gone, and above them flew a new flag, a black flag with a silver Earth at its center. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched in silence. Some were afraid, some were in shock, and a few felt hope. Hope that maybe this new power would be different. But deep down, they all knew one thing. The humans were back, and they had become something else. On Erebus 9, now the capital of the new Terran Empire, General Elias Voss stood before a crowd of leaders, soldiers, and citizens. The room was dark, lit only by the stars outside. No music. No celebration, just his voice, cold, calm, and final. We did not start this war. We were cast out. We were pushed away like animals, like monsters. But in exile, we became stronger. We built in silence. We learned. We trained. And now, we do not ask for a seat at your table. We have built our own." The room stayed silent. Then, applause. Quiet at first, then louder and louder, not from pride, but from relief. Relief that the fight was over. Relief that Earth had survived. Admiral Kara Wren stepped beside Voss. "What happens now?" she asked. Voss looked out at the galaxy. "Now, we rule." The Galactic Council, once the most powerful force in the universe, sent a message. It read, "Let there be peace." The Terran Empire replied, "There will be, but not your kind of peace. Our peace. Human peace." In the following weeks, Earth ships landed on hundreds of planets, not to conquer, but to offer something else: order. Trade routes reopened. Pirates disappeared. Justice returned, fast, sharp, and merciless. Those who resisted vanished. Those who followed thrived. The galaxy changed. Children grew up learning about Earth's strength, about what happened when you push humans too far, and whispered across the stars was one simple truth. You can fight many things in this galaxy, but never fight a human with nothing to lose. On a quiet farm world, a small alien child looked up at the sky and asked, "Who are they?" His mother replied, "They are the ones who came back from the dark. They are the reason no one dares to speak of exile anymore." And somewhere, deep in space, the Earth flag flew over a new shipyard. Bigger, faster, stronger. Because even in peace, the Terran Empire was still building.